Welcome to the Leadership Tea podcast, where leadership, culture, and clarity meet conversation. I'm Shelby, joined by my co-host Belinda.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, and so we are wrapping up this current season of the podcast with something that Belinda and I talk about a lot, which is how do you be a mentee? What does it mean to actually be in that role as a mentee? We talk about everyone should have a mentor, but we never really focus on what it means to be the mentee in that relationship. So that's the topic of today's episode. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Belinda to get her thoughts on what are some of the lessons that you've learned as a mentee.
Yeah, I think we were fortunate, both of us, early in our career, we had the opportunity to receive mentors and be in environments where we needed to network. And I think I spent a lot of time thinking about how not to come across as having like an ego. I would like to think that I came across that way. In seeing some of my counterparts who would start conversations with, this is where I'm going to school. And by the way, my name is such and such. Or let me give you a rundown of my resume. But they didn't really bring much to the table. It seemed like it was off-putting to people. So I think this is a topic that I spent a lot of years thinking about. I think the first thing that really comes to mind for me is that people should not go out there and try to clout chase, to just like meet someone and it's clear that like you're thinking about their title, you're thinking about if it aligns with where you see your future. I think it's just important to walk through open doors and to connect with people genuinely who clearly want to help you, right? Because there's doors that will open as a result of that you're not even aware of, that you don't even know exists. The people who have had the biggest influence in my life were people who were not focused on things that I thought I wanted to study or, drill in on in my career. They are people who just said, hey, let me take you to coffee. And they have continued to be really impactful mentors in my life, 10, 20 years on down the road. When I talk to a lot of folks who are interested in me being their mentor, they will often have this very rigid view of where they think their career is going and why knowing me is going to be something that they can leverage. And that's not for the win. It doesn't make me feel good about where you're going. And it also is a concern for me. You are so locked in on a dream, you might be missing other opportunities as a result. So I just can't emphasize this enough. Just get to know people. When I go to a new job, I think that knowing the janitor is just as important as knowing the CEO.
That part.
And I've learned a lot from janitors. Honestly.
Okay.
I've learned a lot from the people who don't seem important are the people who've looked out for me the most. They know what the HR is about to release this thing over here, or the IT people, if you go over there and you say this thing, they'll fix your computer. The information I really needed to know to move ahead did not come from people with the main titles. Focus on just finding nice people and less on finding people with titles. Often also they're really busy.
Yeah.
Right? You need time. You have questions. You're only going to be able to talk to somebody in the C-suite a couple times a year at best. But you might get to talk to that middle manager who works in a vertical that you're not even in. You might get to talk to them every month.
Yeah.
So clout chasing is something that I would really highlight for people as something that you should be wary of.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And your point on walking through open doors, that really resonates with me. I think one of the things that I see kind of blocking people from having good relationships with mentors is that they feel like my company or my organization paired me with this person. And so now I'm obligated to, have this person be my mentor, and that's it. I don't have any options. But you always have options. And in fact, sometimes, those pairings are not matches made in heaven. And your comments made me think about an experience that I had where I was paired with a mentor as an entry-level professional. And in my first meeting with this person, and I'll never forget, I remember his name. I remember what he looks like. If he were to walk in here right now, I would remember exactly who he is. But we met for coffee one day, and I was giving him a little bit about my background. And I mentioned the high school that I went to, a private school. And he looked at me and he was like, how does someone like you get into a school like that? And so immediately I was like, okay, this conversation is
We're
over.
done.
Thank you,
Yeah.
but no thank you. I'm moving on. And I don't even think I reported back to HR. Maybe I did. I don't remember if I said, okay, I don't want to proceed with this mentor or not. But what I did do was just kind of read the room and think about the people who had made presentations or people that I had come across where I felt like this person, maybe I can vibe with them. It seems like we have things in common. They seem approachable, all the things that you just said. They seem nice. They seem kind. They seem reasonable. They don't come across as a jerk. Maybe this is a better person for me to talk to. And so I just want to foot stomp your point on walking through open doors and to remind people that sometimes situational mentorship makes all the difference. You don't have to limit yourself to whoever you've been paired with. You can, just find your person. You always have options. So I just want to double click on that. And I think that's a good segue to one of the points that I wanted to make, which is to be in relationship with your mentor. As a mentee, it's important for you to see your mentor as a human being. They may have a family. They may have other things going on in their lives. They have birthdays. They want to hear from you, not just when something is going wrong or just when you need something. But I feel like in my personal experience, the best relationships are the ones where there's some give and take. There's some exchanges that aren't related to transactions, like feedback on your evaluation, or you need a reference. And, all of that is fine. Those are dynamics of a mentoring relationship that just kind of goes with the territory. But I feel like the really full relationships are those where there's some communication beyond the normal, it's evaluation season, or I'm applying for a new job. You check in with them on their birthday or special holidays. You send them a Christmas card if you're a Christian, or whatever the case may be. But just being in relationship and remembering that they're a human being like you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that links really well to the idea of also you're not just talking to them because of a title or something like that. And also when you wait until you just have a problem or a reason, sometimes they can't solve that for you. Or sometimes the thing that you're bringing to them, they would have had different advice for you had you come earlier. And then just going back to something you said earlier, it made me reflect on also don't let the baggage that they bring to the table impact your view of you, your view of mentor-mentee relationships. This goes back to what you said. You're not stuck. Yeah. You can move somewhere differently if you want. And I just wish that somebody had explicitly told me that. And I also wish somebody had explicitly told me that mentor-mentee relationships, particularly when they are assigned, right, through programs, really bring up a lot of the hierarchical and cultural issues that exist in the workplace happen in that relationship, right? So you mentioned that person who's like, how did you go to that high school, right? But I can remember, especially early in my career, nobody prepared me for the idea of how gender was going to be so wrapped up in my interactions. And I can't even say it's a function of the organization, because the story that I'm thinking of right now actually reflects back to me working at a think tank. And so that was before I was in government. But like this mentor who I'd been assigned there just constantly brought up my youth and my gender. And his advice really focused on that all the time, but in ways that were not healthy. And I found it to be very confusing. And it left me feeling like I was doing something wrong, right? And this culminated, this is like a wild story, but like it culminated with, as I was leaving, this person's like, you've done great work. It's really been great mentoring you. Here's my number if you need anything, and so I did. Like 6 months later, I needed a reference as I was going into government. And so I called. This is like, I don't know why I didn't have an email address for this guy, but
whatever.
I called the number. This is still in the days of voicemail. I got a voicemail. I left a voicemail, and I got a call back from him a few days later, livid about why would I do that? His wife wanted to know why women were calling him.
What?
And I'm like,
slow your roll.
I just do what you told me to do. I didn't call and say like, I don't know. I didn't pull like a Marilyn Monroe and sing like, Dear Mr. President, right? Like I just like, hey, it's Belinda. I still I've got a job opportunity. Can I get a reference? Yeah. Like, I mean, you know me. I didn't say anything crazy.
Of course not.
And I remember just being like I was very much gaslit, right?
Yeah, because
And
you like literally told me to
told me to
call
call.
you.
Like,
And so
where did I get this number from?
right.
And that's an extreme example, but I can just remember many of those particularly assigned mentors bringing the, how did you go to grad school there? Or what do you mean you're studying that? Well, that's a really difficult issue.
Like,
You
did I
know,
ask you?
that's really hard to do. Are you sure you want to do that? Don't you want to start a family someday? How do you think you're going to like craziness? And I thinking like, okay, well, they're telling me I'm supposed to talk to you because you're important and you clearly are successful. So am I really supposed to be taking those things into consideration? And so it's like, if your gut is telling you no, and we didn't have, I don't feel like gaslighting was a common term
it
when
wasn't.
early in our career. So, but now we have that language. And so if you're feeling gaslit, then it's time to go broaden your horizons.
Right.
But not necessarily say poo poo. Because I've seen people go to that extreme, just like, I had a bad mentor, so I don't
need a mentor ever.
I'm just going,
yeah.
no,
That's
not going to work.
Nope.
You can't make it through this life alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just can't.
You just can't. 100%. I'm thinking about something else that I've seen, complaints that I've gotten from people who want to be a good mentor, but the mentee is not holding up their end of the relationship. And so my other lesson learned for mentees in terms of how to be a good mentee, don't ghost your mentor.
No.
Don't ghost your mentor. There are people who take mentoring very seriously and want to be there for you, but sometimes the mentees won't show up to that Zoom call or they cancel at the last minute and it's not like a legit reason for them to be canceling at the last minute. It's just like, oh, yeah, I can't make it today. Okay, well, your mentor set aside this time for you and they want to be there for you, but you're being flighty. What's up with that? Like, don't ghost your mentor.
No.
People are busy. And yes, of course, life happens. If you have a legit reason why you can't show up, obviously share that with your mentor. But sometimes people can be a little lax when it comes to taking the relationship seriously. And it just looks poorly on you. It's not professional. It's just not cool. Like, you don't want to be ghosted. You don't want people to leave you hanging. Don't do that to your mentor.
Yeah, you get to ghost me like once. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like also be realistic about, I've had this happen a couple of times recently. Be realistic about when you can meet.
Yeah.
Like, yes, my schedule's constrained, but if you know that you're in an environment where 10 a.m. on a Wednesday is just not possible, you have a boss that's micromanaging you and it's going to be like, why are you on the phone? Then maybe it's lunchtime.
Right.
Maybe it's evenings, maybe it's weekends, but be realistic as well about or if you know that there's a big visit or a big, just event or something come up. Well, don't ask to talk to me like around the time of the big thing. You might be pulled into something.
Exactly.
So it's also showing a little bit of discernment and professionalism on your part in the asking, which I guess kind of ties in well to what I was going to say, which is also you're not a bother though.
Yeah.
And there are people who came to me later in my career who said, why didn't you ever call me? Why didn't you ever, I really wanted to help you, but you never reached out. You never, whatever. And I didn't because I thought, well, I don't have a problem. Like I'm in my job X, mid-level job X. It's awful. Like, I cry every day. I eat a chocolate chip cookie to make it through the afternoons. Like, it's bad, but I just figure that's what it is. And I just need to dig deeper.
I'm just going to suffer through it.
This is what we do.
Yeah.
And people were like, you should have come to me. We could have talked about it. And I'm like, what am I supposed to say? Like, my job sucks. Everybody's job sucks. It sucks being mid-level cog in the wheel number 512.
Right. It's just part of life.
What I could have done looking back and now seeing people who come to me for these kinds of conversations, I could have just asked for 15 minutes on your calendar and just given you an update. Hey, I'm in XYZ office right now. It's not horrible, but I'm looking to do XYZ things in the future. I'm planning on blah, blah, blah. What do you think? Like, that could have been it.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel like I could do that. And so that's something I regret. And it's something I would offer to our listeners as it's a bother when you come to me and you're just like, hey, okay, well, now I'm like, well, what are we doing?
Why are we here?
Why are we here? But hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm thinking. I'd appreciate your advice. Can I bounce this off of you? That's okay. Coming to me when things are real bother, like you haven't spoken to me in 6 months and you come to me and say, actually, I'm about to be fired. Can you help me?
No, it's too late. Like, what? I'm not a miracle worker. Like, I'm tight, but yeah.
You know, I'm on a PIP. Can you get out of my office? I
Right?
don't even want to be associated now. Like,
Okay.
what's up? Don't
do that.
There's somewhere between you're not a bother, I'm just checking in, and things are getting more challenging and I could use your advice, that you need to show some judgment.
Yeah.
This isn't school. There's not a syllabus. Now we are using all of the pieces in the toolbox and our judgment to make moves. And the other piece, just really honing down on that lack of clout chasing. Every relationship is not about making moves.
That part. Say that again.
Like,
please.
you need a whole village. Like, we talk all the time about building. You need a whole village.
You do.
And not everybody in the village is a leverage point.
Yeah.
But everybody brings something valuable.
Yes.
Right? I've had people who just skipped past me at a networking event because they thought, oh, you're just doing blah, blah, blah. And they go to somebody with a title and I'm sitting there going, they're a moron. Also, they're not going to help you.
I was going to say, they're not going to be able to do anything for you.
Played yourself.
Well, good luck with that.
Good luck. You couldn't talk to both of us. That's fine.
Right.
But the whole time you're talking to me, you're looking
over my shoulder. God, I hate that. I hate
it's
that.
like, good luck with that. Now
Right.
I'm not helping. I'm quiet.
Yeah.
I'm quiet.
Yep.
And there's so much I could have offered to you, but you were out here chasing titles or chasing who you thought you could leverage or chasing who can get you to the next thing. That next thing may not be the thing that you should even be doing.
Exactly.
But who am I?
Yeah. Well, which is why, back to one of the points I made earlier, you have options and you shouldn't limit yourself to only having one mentor. You can have different people as part of your village, as you were saying, that serve different purposes. You just need people. You need a community. You need folks that you can talk to. I have a mentor who's more spiritual and, we can dive into faith-based things and that's great. I have someone else who's like, okay, I just want to help you reach that next thing. And so I talk to them more about professional, career related things. And then I have people that I can talk to about anything, like literally anything. And those are great mentors as well. So just remember, as we always say, community is clutch. Your mentors don't have to fit one specific box. You don't have to have just one mentor for everything because that's not how life works.
And you have to have resilience. Like, these relationships go up and down with anything else.
100%.
And so you just can't have extreme reactions to them, right? You got to keep learning. You got to keep exploring.
Yep.
Yeah.
That part.
So with that said, I think what I would offer as maybe a last piece of advice to our listeners is, don't put yourself in your own little world thinking about all of this. If you're not sure how to be a great mentee, one, get some advice from your current mentors. Also, talk to your peers. Like, what's working for other people? We have a mutual friend that people call the mayor.
Yes.
He knows everybody.
You know who you are.
Everybody's got that friend. So go to that friend. Like, what are you doing? How are you? But don't stay isolated. And I think lastly, I would say, when you're working in an environment that's largely hybrid or online or remote, you really have to lean into this extra. You have to have these virtual coffee chats.
Yeah.
And you have to be even more honest with people about why. Like, hey, I just would love to pick your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
It's harder, but you need to do it.
Yeah. Just make the effort.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in sum, we want people to remember our key points from this chat. What would we say?
Don't clout chase. Don't let your anxieties or your lack of organization or whatever's happening in your life cause you to be unprofessional and ghost, right?
Right.
And don't be too timid.
Mm-hmm. Be in relationship.
Amen. I like that.
Yep.
So with that said, we appreciate you spending time with us today and spending time with us this whole season. If you are listening on audio, we would really appreciate it if you would come over to YouTube. And first of all, just come and see us. We'd love to say hi. Hi. But also, we really appreciate it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel and engage with our content. Let us know in the comments what your mentee experiences have been like and the kinds of questions that you still have. And we look forward to continuing to share our insights and the insights of our guest with you in the next season of the Leadership Tea podcast, where we are sipping wisdom and stirring success.